Also, another thing to keep in mind, I'm really not here to teach you anything new. Right? I'm just here to kind of remind you of the things that we already know, but we forget to do sometimes. You don't have to believe everything I say. Everything I talk about today is through my experiences and the people I've worked with, the successes I've had, and also the failures that I've had. Right? But in the end, all those things, they're nothing more than ingredients of a cake. If you have all the ingredients of a cake and you put it on your table, kitchen table, you can stare at it all you want, but you're not going to have a cake. The key part is the implementation and the execution after today. The day I stopped working was the day I started my business. I actually have fun in what I do, and I hope that shows by the time we're done. I'm the happiest when I'm actually working. And that's what you need to do. It doesn't matter what you're doing, it's a mind frame. We need to create the excitement and the fun and the passion in what we do. Because our clients will always know if we're faking it or not. Is that true?
Yeah.
Definitely. So how many people here are passionate in what they do? A passionate group. Anybody know what passion means in Latin? Suffering. In essence, in my language, what that means is passion is the suffering that we go through in life in order to get what we truly want out of life. Have you ever met somebody that is successful in their own right and has passion in what they do but never went through suffering to get there? Right. That's what keeps us alive. Our passion is our fuel. And those days where you ask yourself, why am I doing this? That's when the passion kicks in. That's what takes us to the next day. Is the fear of the unknown. They're not too sure what to expect from you. They're not too sure if they truly trust you. That's the number one thing that clients always wonder about. What happens when something goes wrong?
Yes.
You seem to have an answer for everything. This is great. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate your participation and your energy. Every decision we make is based on emotion. You're dealing with humans. You're dealing with the human mind. You're not dealing with the computer. So everything is based on emotions. How many things have I given up out of fear of failure? And the more important question to me now is, how many more things will I give up based on fear of failure? If you do not try, you'll fail anyways. Because success is always on the other side of failure. If you're not willing to fail, you have actually committed to not wanting to succeed. We look at all these top performers and these great leaders, and we see their successes, but we have no idea what failures they went through to get to where they are. Hall of Fame, in layman's terms, that means he's considered one of the world's best. To become a Hall of Famer, one of the world's best in that industry, you only have to succeed on average 33% of the time. You fail the rest. That's it. And you do it on national TV. Everything was linked to emotions. Instinctively, we know that. But everything I'm talking about here is nothing new. The question is, have we actually created some sort of a process or a system to make sure that we are connecting with them emotionally? We're trying to do it anyways, and we know it's the most important thing to do, so might as well create a system behind it. Might as well understand what we're trying to achieve, the outcome. What you need to focus on is not are you just giving good service to your customers, but are you actually helping them succeed and get what they want? Because awareness will precede change. If you're not aware of these three questions, you will not control the perceptions. What is your brand, is what we're getting to. Companies spend millions and millions of dollars creating a brand because it works. What is your brand? What do you want to be known for? Now, that will create consistency. One of the key characteristics of any leader is consistency. Because that creates predictability. If there's no predictability, there's absolutely no trust. Great leaders are extremely predictable. You can sit there and say, I know what he or she will do no matter what the situation is. Now, if that brand got out in the industry, do you think that's going to help a little more?
It does.
Definitely. Great. But the more aware you are, the more you can influence that.
Exactly.
If you're not aware of it visually, you cannot influence it. It might still happen, but it's not going to be as efficient.
Right.
That's the key. Does that help?
Yes.
Perfect. But did that make a difference to your entire business model?
Massive.
His whole business model changed based on creating clarity on his brand and what he wants to leave behind. That is why he found what would work for him. And he practiced it, and practiced it. Instead of asking for more resources, he used what he had. That's perception, folks. The biggest error salespeople make, including myself, and to this day I'll catch myself thinking this sometimes. Well, if I had more resources, if I had this, if I had that, if my management did this, if my clients did, if my territory, there's always a reason why. Right? Ask yourself, through clarity, what you have right now in front of you, are you actually being effective and efficient with that? Because that's where your business lies, right there. Gas attendant came out, filled up gas, they drove off, and then he looked at his wife after a couple of minutes and said, obviously something bothered you. Would you like to talk about it? And she goes, nothing major. She goes, the gas attendant that came out actually was my boyfriend in high school. And she said, I was thinking about the fact that back then, I thought I was going to marry him. And the governor talks about how his response was, well, good thing you didn't, because then you would be the wife of a gas attendant. And then he also mentions how her response was, well, actually, if I would have married him, he would have been the governor. Let me ask you a question. How powerful are perceptions in your business? The perceptions that you have, and more so the perceptions that your clients have. Perceptions are everything, are they not? Doesn't matter what situation is there, logic is irrelevant. The question is, what are their perceptions? And the perceptions are controlled by the emotions that we leave behind. And why did you take a shower this morning? To wake up, so you smell nice, you feel better, what you normally do as well. Definitely, that's an important point. What would happen if, even if you're working out at home and you didn't take a shower for 3 days, do you think you would feel as effective working? No. You wouldn't feel that good, would you? And imagine this, you actually didn't take a shower for 3 days because you know what, you just didn't get around to. Like you don't get around to doing the important things in our business because urgency kicks in. Right? Say you had the same mentality about the shower. And you actually went to a client. Do you think your client wants to deal with you? How about your coworkers? It's not going to work, is it? Because you can physically see the impact it will make. Because we live in a dirty environment. Do we not live in a negative environment? Is there a day that you can spend out in public where you will not hear a negative comment, a complaint of some sort? It's all around us. So we live more in a negative environment than a positive environment. So is it not as important to take 20 minutes a day to clean your minds out as it is to clean your external out? The only reason we put more importance to that is because we can physically see the impact it makes. But going in without a positive mind, or the way of thinking that we need, we're creating more damage for the long term than you can ever imagine. That's what investing in yourself is. If you can invest 20 minutes a day to take a shower, you definitely need to invest 20 minutes a day to clean your mindset. You want to know where you want to be in 5 years? It's very simple. It's a reflection of the books that you read and the people you associate with. Because we are a product of our environment. How many people here have children? How many people have teenagers? How fearful do we get when they hang around long crowd? Why do we get fearful? Because we know they're a product of the environment. It will affect them, it will influence them. Is there a difference between teenagers and adults? There's no difference. It's the same thing. If it works for them, it works for us. Did we have fun?